podcast, The Center, with your host, DC Radical One.
Greetings, Black family, and welcome to On the Wake Up Radio. I am your host, DC Radical One. You have entered the center. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Cindy Ashby. You can check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeart Radio at On the Wake Up Radio. How's everybody doing today? This was kind of a somewhat of a last minute discussion I want to have on a day that I never live stream. So if it's a light crowd, but I'm not gonna be long. I'm gonna be on probably 90 minutes at the most. That's at the extreme most. BB4 Day Straight Black Pride to Brother You Got Ripped Off. BB4 Day Straight Black Pride to Sister Fonessa. Hopefully some more people will come through. And if not, so be it. So tonight's discussion I want to talk about real quick is how Black manhood is portrayed in the media. And this was sparked by it started as You Got Ripped Off. Piece of Straight Black Pride to Brother Crow. As Brother You Got Ripped Off, had he seen Wu-tang American Saga. And he said it was good. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. Because I had saw some previews and I didn't like the previews, so I never watched it. So I watched it. I watched all 3 seasons in a couple of weeks. And then I started watching Godfather of Harlem. And I'm gonna be honest, I generally don't like most people's portrayal of Malcolm, so I tend not to watch stuff where people portray Malcolm, because most dudes that try to portray him, suckers, basically. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Malcolm was thorough. So I generally stay away from anything like that. And but I started watching that, and I realized it's fictionalized. So I'm like, all right, it's fictionalized. I check it out. Then it came on. I was like, all right, yeah, this is all right. And then today I went to see One Love, the Bob Marley movie. I was supposed to see it a couple of weeks ago, but that's neither here nor there. And as I consuming this content, Sister Vanessa. I won't say that, but he kind of did the definitive. And since then, as far as I know, there's nothing else that's been made that's strictly Malcolm centric. No one else has been given a chance. First of all, they have an incredible casting problem doing Malcolm. Malcolm's 6'5". You know what I'm saying? So all these 5'9", 5'11", maybe 6 feet dudes that they keep rolling out trying to play Malcolm. That's problem one. Right. You got ripped off. Yeah. Even though Denzel looks absolutely nothing like Malcolm, but he did capture the mannerisms and the speech cadence. Even though he doesn't sound like Malcolm vocally, but he captured the speech cadence. So I just lost my train of thought. I kind of don't like see people play Malcolm. Then today, earlier today, I went to see the Bob Marley movie, One Love, and I didn't know what to expect. I heard some people say that, basically was like, it's watered down or this or that, whatever the case may be. But I said, I'm gonna see for myself. And okay, brother, you got ripped off. I see you, brother. You could have sent a message with that test. I will get there. So for those who don't know, which is everybody, except you got ripped off, this channel is officially part of the YouTube partner program. So the channel's been partially monetized. So we have the hours for that level of monetization, and we have the subscribers. What we don't have is the subscriber count necessary for the full monetization, which would need a couple of hundred more people. So I just want to make that announcement, and I want to congratulate you all who have been rolling with the channel from minute one years ago. Never really thought that this channel get monetized, to be completely honest. And y'all know what my motto was: get monetized or get deleted trying. So we're halfway there. So Stag brother, you got ripped off for opening up the super chat. We know it works. You just did the super sticker too. Brother, you got ripped off going. He going ham with all the new accessories. Make sure everything works. Time he finished tonight, I'm gonna owe him $30. But so that's that. I applied a couple of days ago. They got back and they like, yeah, we'll give you a try, buddy. So shout out to YouTube for that. But yeah, Brother Crow, you say you said the movie. Oh, you said you saw Bob Marley movie. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. It was an entertaining film, and it was because they focused in on like the last few years and that turbulent time in Jamaica. I think creatively that actually was a pretty good idea. But I didn't know that going in, which I'm kind of glad I did know. And but I'm gonna get to that. But my point is, in watching all this, and all of them, with the exception, because I actually hadn't researched Godfather of Harlem, but the other two, I know for a fact that Black men who are related to the people who were depicted were instrumental in the making of the projects. So basically the whole Wu-tang clan were consultants in the Wu-tang show. Ziggy Marley and Steven were a part of the Bob Marley, and I believe Rita as well. And just let me say this: the sister who plays Rita Marley gives a riveting performance. She's a beautiful sister. I don't know if this movie was made in time for them to do the Oscar thing. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't know if she received any type of recognition, but I really liked her performance. And so here's what I noticed. so far with all this. Now I haven't seen the whole Godfather of Harlem yet. But what I noticed is that when a lot of times you see like ensemble stuff and black people are part of ensemble, you just get white black people. You understand what I'm saying? Excuse me. So what I'm saying is there's a black person on the screen, but he hasn't brought anything culturally black with him. You see what I'm saying? Let me see if I can actually get these let me see something for me. See if I can get these pictures up here. So it's just random, like you look, there's a black person on the screen, but realistically they could have been whoever. You know what I'm saying? It could have been Hispanic guy, could have been random whoever guy, because the black person doesn't bring any blackness with them. Also, I want to say real quick, if you haven't checked out the real short video that Jeannie sent me that I put up of his arrival in Uganda, you can check that out on the channel after we get off, because when I say it's short, it's like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. But for those who didn't know, he's on the continent doing work as usual for us. So you can check that out. But it was interesting because I wasn't really looking for, I didn't know what to expect with any of these projects, right? I like going into stuff kind of just asking people, does it, you know what I'm saying, does this show suck? Y'all tell me that. So as long as it doesn't totally suck, I give it a chance. Usually I don't make it through a lot of series, so you know what I'm saying? But I did notice that the depictions of straight black men in these projects was different than like the standard fare where black men are featured, or well, not featured, but are like part of an ensemble or whatever the case may be, right? So when I watched this, and I was thinking to myself, we, as in black people, but even black men now, more in this era than before, have to not only tell our stories, but tell them in a way that's serious and that we humanize ourselves, not for other people, but we humanize ourselves so that our children can see us as full human beings. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I thought about, and that's what tonight's discussion is going to be about. You know, it's always funny. I hear people, or I've heard people for years talk about, man, I just lost mine. That's messed up. I accidentally deleted something that I needed. I don't even know how that happened. Oh well. I always hear people talk about representation, and representation matters, and this and this and that. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm just like, roll my eyes, like, here we go. Because even when people were saying that, a lot of times when I look at whatever it is, I don't feel like, I'm like, yeah, there's a black person there, but that dude don't represent me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't see, like, I don't know those black people who they have on the screen. Like, I'll give an example. Like the show, empire, right? I don't know those black people. I'm not saying they don't exist. I mean, could have been the life of Sean Combs for all I know, but I don't know those black people. You know what I'm saying? So when those type of people on, or trying to think some other shows that was out recently, and it just got random black people. Yeah, but I mean, it don't matter. Even something like I know Cedric has a show, and I'm not, trying to knock his show, but yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Black people that sit around and integrate and want to be around other folk and move out there where they live, and that's supposed to be funny, is you try to get to learn your neighbors, and bro, I don't know them black people. I know they exist. I don't know those people. So when I watch these shows, the thing I notice is I recognize the black people who are on the screen. Right? When Brother Crow said the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey was mentioned several times in the Marley film. Like they didn't go out their way, but they understood in the Marley film, they understood that Rastafari is is what's responsible for the Bob Marley that we got to know. So to attempt to make a Bob Marley movie without that aspect is just ridiculous. They didn't get deep into ideology. They didn't really show the Pan-Africanist side of Rastafarianism, except for when Bob Marley made it abundantly clear that he was disappointed in his peoples for stealing money from the brothers on the continent. He showed them he didn't appreciate that too much. And they talked about how important the African tour was, but they didn't show the whole African tour, which I was disappointed about. But whatever. But when I watched that, what I liked, even though real life is messy, and it was messy here, but the interaction between Bob and Rita, right? It's a part I liked. And all of these three shows in particular, 2 shows in a movie, you know what I'm saying? Before Day, Straight Black Pride, 7779311. What I liked most is the fact, and this is probably something that maybe there's something I don't see, or I don't notice, I don't see, whatever. But the depiction of the necessity of black women to the success of strong black men who are trying to change their circumstance, and in some ways, even with RZA, change a system. Most of them were in some way or another trying to change a system, even if it was unintentional, right? So Bob Marley, by simply spreading the message of Rastafari, was changing the system of the thoughts of how, he was really, in a way, challenging white supremacy. I don't even think intentionally, but by giving a revolutionary message at a time where part of Africa was still throwing off the colonial yoke, which we kind of forget. That was the 70s. But those of us who are aware historically, after Bob Marley passed away, people were still trying to free South Africa. He was making music when Zimbabwe was still under the yoke, and then Zimbabwe declared their independence while he was still here, right? So again, not even intentionally, he was changing a system. The Wu-Tang, the RZA was, changing the whole music, the way artists are dealt with, by having, in essence, and I remember when he did it, Breathing Straight Black Pride of Sister Nina. It was revolutionary at the time to have a group deal with one label and a solo artist deal with another label. You're getting 2 bites of the apple. That was unprecedented, because anybody who knows the history of like musical groups and stuff know that a lot of groups break up because the way the music industry would pay people, you're getting paid. If you got 2 people and it's a group, y'all splitting in 2 ways. You got 8 people in a group, y'all splitting in 8 ways. But the percentages that you get, as far as the residuals and whatnot, is going to be the same. If you sign for 10%, which was high and almost unprecedented at one time, I don't know how it works now, or 8%, right? Well, that 8% is divided up by 8 people. Y'all just got to split the pie. But if it's 2 of y'all, then y'all just got to split that pie. And then the money, basically you get paid after expenses. I mean, like, music industry, man, is one of the great scams and flim flams of all time. You know what I'm saying? But so for RZA to do that and to set it up so that they were able to get paid as individuals and as a collective was revolutionary from a music perspective at the time, right? I mean, remember, this is the same industry that Michael Jackson and Prince, who were titans, were, literally fought the music industry to the death. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then Bumpy, the underworld, he was trying to revolutionize the underworld in a way, because here's something we don't think about, right? And I was thinking about it as I was watching it, and no one ever talks about this. Every group that has come here, every immigrant group that I can think of, and somebody stop me if I'm wrong, that has come here from the late 1800s to the mid 1900s, built that internal economy on criminal behavior, right? Just think about it. Now let's go through this. Y'all stop me when I'm lying. The Chinese, Chinese triads, as far as I know, still exist. Chinese, they had their criminal groups. I think they call them the Tongs. That information may not be 100% correct, but they had theirs, right? They never talk about the Jewish mafia. First of all, the Italian mafia had Jews, and then the Jews had their own mafia. You know what I'm saying? I tried to get a book on that. The book was like $400. I'm like, what secrets they got in here? You know what I'm saying? Is there some way to conjure up money? I mean, what is happening right now? Right? The Italians made whole movies about their stuff, so we gonna believe them. You know what I'm saying? The Irish, they have their mafia, and they got their mafia, and they the police. So they get you both ways. You know what I'm saying? BB482, right? Ito bites out. Man, I'm trying to think. Right, we got a Russian mafia. We got Albanians now. We got an Albanian mafia. Like, basically, everybody you can think of. I mean, the Hispanics, they They don't give them mafia status or whatever. They just call them gangs, but taking over most of Southern California. So I'm just gonna give them the mafia title. You know, they got the Mexican mafia. I mean, you got cartels. I mean, you got all the Hispanic drug lords up and down South and Central America, right? Everyone, MS-13, right? Everyone was allowed to build their internal economy with criminal behavior. Now, here's what's deep, right? This is what's deep. And here's what black people, we forget. Well, think of it this way. We're the only people who built our internal economy without criminal behavior and then had it destroyed multiple times so that we then tried to build it with criminal behavior. Right? Think about what I'm saying. Now think about it. Let's go back. So you have right the end of the Civil War. Black people helped win the war. We had the skills to build stuff because we were the ones building stuff. The idea that everybody was out picking cotton is a lie, right? Because again, what they don't talk about is the black people that they brought here were skilled, and they brought young people who were able to work, because many societies on the west coast of Africa at the time had what Europeans would call guilds. Your family, everybody's family, had a trade that they did, right? So if you were a blacksmith and you got captured, you didn't forget how to be a blacksmith on the boat. You just had to survive, right? And if you took your skills to make something easier that you had to do, all of a sudden then they like, wait a minute, this boy know how to do XYZ. Then they would put you to work on that task, and the people that were entrepreneuring were like, okay, I'm gonna work for him at this time, and then I'm gonna apply my trade for other people, and I'm gonna get my freedom. You see what I'm saying? So people were using their skills. Black people were using their skills to buy their freedom. Like, this part of the equation is never talked about, right? The skills that they had innately passed down to them from the continent. Just like sisters had skills and herbs and everything and healing people and whatnot. And they never talk about the Yorugu that would go call, hey, go get the medicine woman and have her make something because Mr. Charles is sick. Nobody ever talks about that, right? That part of history is erased. So we had, and when I say internal economy, you know, we had whole towns. Like when we have the discussion about reparations, most times we don't even get to the towns that were destroyed, the land that was stolen. I mean, that's like a second Holocaust. The things that people built, the patents that were stolen, the inventions that were stolen, the people who businesses were taken, the people who were killed because they had a business, so forth and so on ad nauseum. And so some black people were like, all right, well, cool. If I'm not allowed, right? If I'm not allowed to build things legally, Well, I'll do things illegally, right? And as everybody knows now, the whole lottery concept comes from black people. Just like the whole free breakfast program comes from black people. You know, thank the Black Panther Party. I don't know who started the numbers. I don't know. I just know sometime back in the sometime around garbage time. I'll just put it like that. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody knows or whatever, y'all can look that up. So, but back to the numbers and back to using crime to build an economy, you know, that takes us back to Bumpy, Ellsworth, Mr. Johnson, and his war, truce, and war with the mafia, right? They kept wanting to take Harlem, which was black at the time, right? And he kept telling them, Harlem is ours, and I am its protector. Period. Full stop. That sentence is now complete. There is no further discussion. You know? And so they were like, well, no, because you are an N, and what you say is irrelevant. And Bumpy is like, let me see how irrelevant these Tommy guns are. Right? As Malcolm X say, you gotta speak a language that everyone can easily understand. And eventually, you know, a peace was made and he was allowed to administrate Harlem. But the whole thing of it is that Bumpy and Frank Lucas and all those dudes, New York cats, Harlem cats, wouldn't have to be doing that if our infrastructure wasn't destroyed beforehand, right? Like one of the things you see in the Wu-tang show, it's like you see them, I mean, they're struggling mightily, right? And for those who were around, depending on where you lived in the 80s, if you didn't experience it, like if you were like me, you were lucky. You like your family had, you know, did some climbing up the economic ladder, and you had three that I know of generations that were intact before you, where you had parents and your parents had parents and your parents had parents. Generally speaking, if that was the case, you lived a different reality than people who couldn't say that, right? So realistically, when the whole crack thing happened and everything like that, whether or not you had a family made a difference in your experience, right? Now, depending on where you live, that crack definitely rocked a lot of families, because in the grand scheme of things, it was an attack on black people. It's chemical warfare. Like, we don't have to debate now. I got the documentation. I got I can't even think of the dude's name now, but I got it. I still got his book up in here. I got the book on the Clintons and the Bushes and their whole thing with the airfield they had where they were shipping in drugs in the airfield in Arkansas. Being in Arkansas, I got all that. So we know what's up with that. I mean, that's not debatable. In fact, no one debates it, so they just kind of sweep it on the rug and everyone forgets. Like, no one. That's why if anybody want to tell me anything about the Clintons, they say that the Clintons did X, Y, and Z. Oh yeah, I don't even question it. I believe it. Because if you start off your career doing dirt, there's nothing that's going to make you be, you know what I'm saying, short of some type of religious type experience. There's nothing that's going to change how you are. You were corrupt then when you were nobody. You're going to be way more corrupt when you're somebody, because you got more to gain and more to lose. So anyway, and hold up. Thank you to, see who this is. Thank you to my sister, the integrative school psychologist, for her wonderful donation. I appreciate it so much. Gary Webb, Dark Alliance. Thank you, brother Crow. I was struggling mightily before they Straight Black Pride, Straight Black Saw. So, in Straight Black Saw, you late to the party, but we are now entered the YouTube partner program. We low level monetize. So y'all can throw up some I don't know what them emojis are with people like confetti and whatever that is. Y'all can throw those up if you feel like it. But only because the things we built were destroyed multiple times have Black people been relegated to criminal activity. Unlike other people who just came in and started doing criminal activity because, I don't know if that was part of the instruction manual of the United States, or I don't know what it is. But everybody else seemingly just came here, got off the boat and said, all right, time to start doing crime, and worked their way up from there. So, yeah, I've been ingesting too much entertainment, brother. But so back to these three particular shows in a movie. The thing I noticed that made me say, yeah, we can't complain about other people. If we want to tell our stories, we have to tell our stories. And we have to get our people to see us and themselves through our own eyes, right? So, like I was saying previously, each piece of media made it very apparent that Black women were instrumental in the rise and success of these men, right? And each woman were portrayed as fully human, and each woman was flawed, and as the men were flawed. We all are. We all got our flaws, I'm not gonna talk about my flaws, but there are many. But that portrayal of the interaction of the men and the women, I realized as I watched it, I'm like, this is the part that we don't see anymore, and this is the part that I'm gravitating to, and this is the part that makes these characters real, or real lifelike. I guess that's what I'm looking for, right? So Bob was very much a womanizer, and yet very much in love with Rita. It's one of them things. Some other brother can try to explain it. I know how it works. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know how it works. But it's hard to explain, right? Even if I don't care if you David and you got a harem, you got a favorite. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it works. So she was very much his rock, and also his inspiration. And I'm gonna tell brothers, like, if you find that type of woman, man, you just, You just throw over your shoulder like a caveman and run away. They don't make that motto much anymore. I'm just saying. And it was an interesting scene, like I think it's the first or the second episode where Bumpy came home. Godfather of Harlem. And you could tell just the way he interacted with his wife and the way she talked to him. Like you could tell their connection and that they had been together a long time and they've been through a lot together, and she understood him. And so she didn't bother to tell him things that she knew he wasn't going to listen to anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be with a woman a long time for her to just know. No, when you tell him this, he's not going to listen. And there's nothing he can do with it because he's not even going to process it. So I'm not going to bother. Or I'll tell him at a time when he's able to process it. So there's no need for me to tell Bumpy that his daughter spilled ice cream on her shirt when somebody just called him and told him that he gonna, you know what I'm saying, he gonna have to handle some Italians who roughed up some sister on 127. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, hey, we'll buy a baby girl a new shirt. I gotta smack up these Italians. So here's the money for the shirt. I'll be back. I'm not back. You know, I probably got, you know, probably had to come back and tell the boys come down to the precinct, but you know what it is. So she understood his life. She understood who he was, right? The part that in Wu-tang, like the which is so weird because they didn't stay together in real life, right? But apparently Ghostface and one of the RZA sisters, like that part is real. Like Ghostface has a child by one of the RZA sisters. So, but I love the portrayal of the relationship as it grew, because it's obviously Ghostface needed all the grounding he could get in that series. If you've seen that series, you know what I'm talking about. Like, he needed to be grounded. His home life was just rough, and he needed a sister to ground him and to cajole him and to nurture him and to keep him alive. To be honest, right? Like he needed all of that from that woman in that show, and she gave him that, and she gave him the room to grow, where he wasn't the most, that's what I'm looking for. And early on in the process, he wasn't the most confident in his creativity of the core members of the clan, right? RZA and Mecca, that dynamic, like it was sad how that ended, but it showed that he needed her at that time. Like there's just a time in his life where that woman was able to carry him to the threshold, even if she wasn't able to follow through with him, but just because of the type of lifestyle he's living. You living a rap star lifestyle. And at the time he had a lot of pressure on him. Trying to, I mean, if you see the show, just put it like this. If you're familiar with the Wu-Tang Clan, just think about trying to rope in and steer 8 or 9 other strong-willed, creative street dudes and get them all moving in the same direction at the same time. Guys, I mean, I give him credit. I knew he was the brains behind it. I knew somewhat the Wu-Tang story, but you just think, just trying to get Old Dirty to to not do something crazy long enough to record 2 songs. Just seemed like a monumental task in itself. Let alone show up on stage and be on tour. That makes me tired thinking about it. But what I liked about the betrayal, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it would happen if RZA wasn't involved in the show, is it showed his struggles, and it showed him adapting, and it showed him saying he needed his brothers to be successful. He needed the Wu. He needed Ghost. He needed Dirty. He needed Meth. Ray. You got, the whole crew. Jizza. Definitely needed Jizza. If I ain't mistaken, Jizza one gave him the lessons. The lessons helped really give them a foundation and a language that they can speak and relate to each other. Without the supreme wisdom lessons, and without all them studying, basically being part of the 5%, or at least studying the lessons together, I don't think that you'd be able to. I don't think he'd been able to put them together like that. It's gonna take more. It's gonna take more than those kung fu movies. You know what I'm saying? Get everybody together. And but I like that because what it showed is that what Black men can accomplish through brotherhood, and that brotherhood ain't gonna be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Brotherhood's gonna involve some arguments. If you're young, it involves some elbows and fist fights. But the love of the brotherhood, if the love of the brotherhood is centered, then it allows things to be built that otherwise can't be built. And the reason I like that is because I believe anyway, young brothers need to see that and understand that. I don't think, because especially if you don't grow up with a father and you don't grow up with uncles, you don't understand this dynamic. And because a lot of young brothers hyper emotional, and I'm not gonna say that a lot of us weren't hyper emotional when we were young. They ain't just start yesterday. Okay, it did not. But I think it's good for them to see that. It's good for them to see that, a ghost needs a Black woman, even though she wasn't, she was phenotypically on the border, but still, she was RZA's sister, so we knew she was Black, even though, but it's good to see, Bob need a reader. There was a scene in there. I think it actually, I ain't gonna give it away where the scene was. Anyway, there's a scene in there where she says, I'm about to go do, I don't remember what. And she says, do you need me? And she's saying, like, do you need me to do something right now before I go? Something like that. And he says, I always need you. Right? He tells her that. He's like, I always need you. And for brothers, you got to remind that woman that yes. Because that's something I don't think we do enough as the brothers when we're in a relationship. If the woman, if the woman is the one and you serious, and hey man, you don't be afraid to express that. Say, nah, yes, I need you. Yes, you make things better. You know what I'm saying? Things are better when you're around. Just magically do that. I don't know how it works. I don't ask. Just make the magic happen. I appreciate it. Brother, you got rich. I'll say, don't forget power. Oh yeah. Power in a Wu-Tang show. Power is basically the brother started Wu-Wear, and he was able to, and it was an interesting part of that. I'm glad you brought that up, brother. I don't know if anybody's seen the show, see it right. There's a point where he has to decide, can he maintain it? Will they expand it? You know, like what they gonna do? And he gets made an offer for someone to purchase Wu. So he got a crossroads. He don't know what he want to do. And what's funny is, it's the third season, but I don't know what episode. Just pay attention. I ain't gonna give it away. Just pay attention to who is trying to buy Wu-Wear. Now, I don't know if this was intentionally done, or this was just factual, or if RZA was accidentally sending a message, or I don't know what it was. But I'll let y'all mention in the comments who it was that were trying to buy Wu-Wear from Power and from Wu. Y'all know who it is. I mean, come on, help me listen to me now. So, but yeah, his dynamic, the dynamic between Power and Divine, the two business architects of the whole Wu empire. That was something, former street dudes. Them showing another thing they showed, and it's so subtle that, man, you could miss it. Divine was self-educated, and he learned the rudiments of the music business. I can't remember how, but some type of way. He was studying. He found a book, and so he was studying the book. He read the book at work. It's before the days of the internet, so you couldn't just rip out your phone. And taught himself the basics, and then start studying and taking business classes and all this. And that's how he helped, because he helped create that blueprint for their contracts and Wu-Tang production and being able to sign outside and all that. He helped design it. That's RZA's brother. But like I was saying, there's so many hidden lessons in these shows that in movies that we do when we do them. And again, these are shows where, as far as I know anyway, let me not say too much, because you never know. But as far as I know, straight black men are helping to make shows about straight black men, and they're showing multi-dimensional black manhood. And we don't get that much, at least, unless I've been missing it. Now, y'all can tell me, like, bruh, there's 100 shows that show black men being men, and you just wasn't paying attention because you wasn't watching nothing for the last 5 years. And then I'll say, oh, that's all I'm gonna say. But as far as I saw, I haven't seen it. But I mean, something that needs to happen, but if nobody I trust to do it, we need a new generation of filmmakers and storytellers from here to go and talk to our people in Nigeria and in Hollywood and try to get some type of collaborative system, alternative to Hollywood, something that's not limited by Hollywood. But it has to be men. I ain't talking about Tyler Perry. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about men. To bring positive images of us to them and them to us. Because, y'all know we got these Negroes, man, make my head hurt thinking about them. We got these Negroes running around. The whole diaspora war thing. And we think of them one way, they think of themselves another. And part of that is because, now, I don't know, I guess they're control of their own thing as far as Hollywood, but the image that is projected of us around the world, yeah, no wonder people look at us crazy. Right? There's a big difference between the days when all they got was newspaper clippings and newsreels, and they saw Malcolm X and Huey P. Newton and even Martin Luther King and black people marching and fighting for their rights and stuff. They saw that and like, oh wow, these people fighting the most powerful people on the planet. Okay, well, if they can do that, then maybe we can do that. And we get free. It's a difference between that and us beaming Sexy Red over there. And Nicki Minaj and I don't even know any. It's crazy. I don't even know any male rappers. I would say Young Thug, but is he still fighting that case? Whoever. The people that we beaming over there now, or some Tyler Perry movies, or some random scamming so-called preacher, whatever the case may be, what's being beamed around the world that represent us now is not something that's going to make other people want to hang around us. Right? We've allowed our image to be controlled by our enemy, and our enemy has done an excellent job of destroying our image because they had 100 years of practice. Say ain't the first rodeo, right? Go back to Birth of a Nation and move your way up. In fact, before Birth of a Nation, go back to Al Jolson in blackface. So the reality is that instead of complaining about it, that's got to take control of it. I mean, as successful as Ice Cube has been, something I noticed is that has Ice Cube since Boys in the Hood gets no more serious than that, has he made us, and he didn't even make that, he just played a character, but has he made a serious role? Like, has he made a movie where black men can be taken seriously, or has everything he done comedy? Y'all let me know, because I may have missed something. I miss a lot of stuff, but it's funny because for those of you following me on Instagram, you saw it posted part of a clip where he was talking about the propaganda in Hollywood. Like some part of Hollywood is for making money, the other part is for pushing propaganda. And I'm like, that's true. But why don't you go ahead and take the next step and put it on the table? Who's pushing the propaganda? And what did you have to give in order to get in that position? To, get the resources you did and make the moves you make. Was it as simple as abandoning Dr. Khaled? Or, what else was it? Whatever. Comedy and seeing him as Triple X the action hero. Man, that was that was pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie. That was pretty. That was unintentional comedy. So the same difference. I forgot about that. But yeah, but he's an example. And I ain't trying to throw darts at Ice Cube because he has things that he's done that I like. He has things that he's done away from business wise that I respect. But as far as putting in something serious or implementing some of the knowledge that I know he has, nah. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't done that. He's implemented it for his benefit. I'll put it that way. But he hasn't implemented as far as putting it in front of our people. It is what it is. Somebody like Ryan Coogler, once you get into the system, he puts information in his stuff for us, even if it's subtle. But at the same time, when rubber hit the road and you had to find a way to do something, Marvel told you they not recasting T'Challa. So you just got to make a feminist movie. Because your lead has transitioned to the ancestral realm and we not replacing them. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? So again, regardless of what Ryan Coogler wanted to do, he said what he wanted to do is have a father-son movie. That went out the window. And he had no recourse. Because he's part of their system and he was their characters. So he couldn't do nothing if he wanted to. Right? I respect his work. I like the characters that I like the characters he brought. I liked Fruitvale, the betrayal of Oscar Grant. Even though it's a tragedy, make you want to throw up seeing it, But, I like the first Black Panther movie. Never saw the second. I like the Creed movies, the first two. Haven't seen the third one yet, so I don't know. So he's a talented brother that has the capacity to bring depth to a straight black character, a straight black male character, I should say. Y'all name some other people, because I don't know who's like still doing stuff now. Brother Pro said Ice Cube was in a movie called Dangerous Grounds. Yeah. I forgot about that. I don't actually remember if it was any good, but I do remember that. Yeah, that was a while ago. But yeah, it's like everything else. We have to get out of the box that they put us in. And a brother said something to me a long time ago that it was so profound, it always stuck with me. He said we have to stop seeing ourselves through the eyes of our enemy. And when he said it, I was like, yo. Right. Brother, I get to it eventually. My brother asked, do I have a plan on watching Wakanda Forever? I get there. I try to get there before 2030 because don't know what's going to be happening in America in 2030. But yeah. One thing I do plan on seeing, because it should be out in like a month, I think. I saw a poster for it, but I didn't pay attention. Civil War. That's not a black movie, but so I'm gonna go see that. I'm gonna do a movie review for that. Anytime a movie like that comes out, there's always something below the surface with that. Y'all know we talk about this all the time. Talk about this in media all the time. I'm definitely going to see that movie because I want to see what's underneath the surface, right? Because I know it's not just entertainment. I want to say it's a propaganda, predictive programming, or is it communication between groups above our heads, or some of, or a little bit of all of the above. But you got ripped off, said black, as far as black directors go, had to give those roles to Lena Waithe. Man, brother, please, I cannot. I'm so tired of Lena Waithe. I'm tired of her. What's her name? Ava DuVernay. I'm kind of tired of her too. I don't even know the sister that made the Marvels. I never heard of her before. I don't know if she's good or not. Apparently, that movie absolutely stunk, according to everybody involved. Well, I mean, everybody that's seen it. You didn't have a good story. You know, that's another thing. This is, since we're on entertainment, the biggest problem in modern Hollywood is that they don't have stories to tell, and they're not storytellers. You got a lot of white directors are visual artists. They ain't got no story to tell. There's nothing. They have nothing interesting to say. So Zack Snyder just, I mean, he's a poster boy for that. That guy will. He has some great visuals and stuff, and some gigantic monsters clashing or stuff blowing up and stuff filmed in slow-mo and all that. He's like film version of Chinese food. Tastes all right when you eat it, but then doesn't fill you with anything. You realize you're still hungry. You say you got ripped off. You're gonna see. Oh man, yeah, you going to see Godzilla vs. Kong. I saw the trailer for that. Trailer wasn't that impressive. Actually, the trailer kind of stunk. So, but I'm a Godzilla fan, so we'll see. I say it just be for entertainment purposes. I don't expect there to be anything hidden in there, but maybe I need to go in with my third eye open. But yeah. How much time I got left? All right, I got 15 minutes left. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's consuming this media recently. It's been somewhat refreshing, man, to see that we are still telling stories where, in the grand scheme of things, straight black love is the centerpiece of it. Now, I understand for somebody, so I know somebody gonna bring it up. I know Bob Marley is mixed. His father is a white man. I know that. Or was a white man. And I know his children seem to have just kind of missed the whole he chose a black woman so that they would be black part of the equation. Ain't quite sure how the brothers missed that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, mom's black. And why you bring them other women up in here? You know. But still the dynamic. It couldn't be himself. He couldn't. I mean, the way they presented it, interestingly enough, he wouldn't even be rostered without Rita. So it was literally the most identifiable part of himself, other than his music. She was responsible for the movie. Not saying that's actually what happened. I don't know. Right? And all the other examples I gave. I just realized that you just don't get to see that often. Like, I was literally sitting there watching the movie, trying to figure out. I was like, what's the last movie that I've seen that depicted a positive relationship with black men and black women. And I know it was there was some movie that came out a couple of years ago, but I never saw it. But it's supposed to be a romance. I think that dude, what's his name? Lakeith Stansfield or something. Y'all help me out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Didn't he have a movie a couple of years ago? Like a romance movie? Y'all help me out. Yeah, wasn't that him? Something about Bill Street? Something. Y'all know what I'm saying. I never saw it, obviously, since I don't even know what the title of it is. But I was appreciative to see, and let me see. You know what I just realized? I just thought about it. All these films are set in the past. As I like to say, when men were men and women were women. So all the movies were set in the past. That's why. Wow. All right, y'all help me out. All right, let's do this again. What movie or TV show set in the present shows a positive relationship between an identifiably black man and an identifiably black woman, and the couple is under 50? Y'all go. I'll be waiting here, because whatever y'all tell me, if y'all tell me that that's the basis of the show, I'm going to look at it. Right? This sister just brought up Crooklyn. Now, that's what, 30 years ago? That's set in the past too. Django set in the past. Black-ish. We have to question that just by black-ish. Right? Are they under? Well, first of all, is Anthony Anderson and what's his name? Are they under 50? Is she? First of all, you know what? Now you made me think. Is she supposed to? Is she mixed in the show? What's her name? Is she mixed in real life? Because it's kind of funny. I've watched episodes of that show, but I haven't watched it. What about My Wife and Kids? How old is that? 30? What's that? 20 years ago? Greetings, brother Jimmy. So one thing we can say, either A, my audience consumes about as much media as I do. You know what I'm saying? Because we in here struggling mightily. Oh, she's mixing the show. Okay, we'll see. Yeah. Oh, that's why it's blackish, because she, okay. So, yeah, well, there you go. I don't think I've ever seen, I think Crooklyn is like of the old school. I don't think I ever saw that whole movie. That's on my list of stuff. I never saw Love Jones till like a few months ago, like the end of last year. I told somebody certain movies, depending on where I was in my life when they came out, I just missed them. Even though I was alive and well, but it was a love movie at a time when I had a breakup. I ain't see that movie. I missed it. You know what, brother? I've never seen Black Lightning. I haven't seen that one episode. And you know why? Because before I could watch the show, y'all told me that they had homophilia in it, and I was like, all right, I'm good. So I have no idea. I know it's homophilia in it. I don't know. Like, does Black Lightning even have a wife? Like, y'all help me out. No, Sister Nina is blackish because she's mixed. In the show, she's half a hat, and I think she's half a hat in real life. Diana Ross' daughter, Tracy Ellis Ross. I don't know why it took me 100 years to remember her name. Yeah, her father's probably had. That's like one of my favorite singers. I found out that she was I don't know if she half Jewish. And then she got a daughter. Daughter just Anyway. Everybody hates Chris. Man, how old is that show now? That's like 15 years ago. Oh, he had a wife, but they were well, see, there you go. There you go. But getting back together. Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, it just goes to show this isn't the fact that we bringing stuff back from 5, 10, 15 years ago. This goes to show. Who's my favorite? I don't know who one of my favorites. She's not my favorite, but she's one of my favorites. And I think she's incredibly underrated. It's, and I just drew a blank. I was about to tell you, but I just drew a blank. If you hadn't asked me, I would have told you. I hate how that works. Minnie Riperton. She's one of my favorites. Of the old school singers who could sing, she somehow is like never mentioned. I guess maybe because she died so young. And I'm about to mess this up, but what's her name? I think Maya Rudolph is her daughter. I'm reading you. You got ripped off, distracted me. I've never seen Power, so I don't even. I haven't seen not 1 minute of that. But yeah. If you ask me who's my favorite singer, I don't even know if I can narrow that down to one person. To be honest, like, this is gonna sound crazy when I say it. One of my favorite singers is somebody whose music I didn't particularly like, but Whitney Houston. Like, I love to hear Whitney Houston sing, even though I didn't particularly care for Whitney Houston music. I know that doesn't make any sense. That's just me recognizing her talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm not going. At no time in my life am I like, you know what? Let me roll out. So let me just roll out some Whitney Houston. Let's do that. Never happens. But when I hear her sing, it's like, oh my God, I forgot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot how incredibly talented she was. Like, Whitney Houston, the only person make me like hearing the national anthem. Okay, I don't want to hear from the. It's two people ever that I like to hear, like America songs. It's Whitney Houston national anthem at the Super Bowl, and Marvin Gaye singing. I guess he was singing the national. Marvin Gaye singing. He didn't change the song up so much. I don't even actually remember what he was singing. I'm assuming it was a national anthem. All right. At the Forum, at the like 84. Sorry, I know you know, like the 84 All-Star game. He turned the national anthem into a love ballad. Okay, that's just like what is going on here? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but that just goes to show the creativity of Black people, that we can take stuff that we don't even like and be like, wow, that's incredible. Like, if I take like the 3 best performances that I remember seeing, those 2 that I mentioned, and the Prince solo at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when I think it was the year he was inducted. I'm not sure, but they were doing it was a bunch of artists. I think everybody else was white except for like the drummer, and they were doing a tribute to George Harrison. Prince comes out, does a solo, throws his guitar up in the air. I still haven't figured out how that worked. I guess he had somebody up above the stage catch it. I don't know what happened. Like, people there don't seem to know what happened. It's become a legendary story, right? They got video of it. Still ain't seen the guitar come down and walks off the stage. So you got all these known people and all these legendary guitarists and all this, and he comes in there and just tears the roof off the building, throws his guitar up in the air to disappear and walk off the stage like a magic trick. And everybody looking around like, what happened? Right? That's, you know, it's black people magic. You know what I'm saying? They talk about black girl magic. You got black men magic too. Marvin Gaye turned the national anthem into a love song. Ain't nobody did that before or since. They should just, until Whitney Houston came along, they could have canceled the singing of the thing. They just play that recording. And then she come and blow the roof off. She blew the roof off a stadium that didn't have one. You know? Let's not forget the Michael Jackson halftime show. That's another legendary performance. But I didn't mean to go down memory lane, but it was just some of the performances that I've seen that are just mind-blowing and sensational. And when you really think about it, no one likes to admit this, but is there any American culture without black people? like really? Like, does American culture exist without black people? Like, what is American music? Like, we make it, they come and infiltrate it, we let them have it and go make something else. Rinse and repeat ad nauseum. Right? You know, it was just so funny. Yeah, we showing our age, absolutely. Taking it way back. You know. But like I was saying, like all the media that we talked about that had showing positive black interaction between black men and black women were set, even though some of them were made recently, the last 5 years, they were set back then. So they still had to time travel. In the grand scheme of things, you got to time travel to see positive interaction with black people. You know? Sad but true. Sister said no. No to 7779311. No to what did I say that you disagree with or I'm wrong about? Because I could definitely be wrong easily. Yeah, they definitely stay taken. Right. I'm just sitting here thinking, like the Wu-Tang show, one of the things it shows is, and I'm trying to think, it's something else I saw. Like, they give a perspective before that, but man, letting them take hip hop and turn it into what it is now. Oh my goodness. I was just sitting there thinking, like, man, if we were able to control, I mean, in a very real way, right? Follow me here, and then I'm gonna get off. In a very real way, the same way that other people come and take the physical resources out the ground of Africa and build themselves up with it is the very real way that people take our intellectual property, our talent, and our cultural contribution, monetize it, and build themselves up. It's the same process, and we don't even realize it. I don't think we think about it. Okay, you say no, there isn't much that isn't influence, but yeah, it's more than influence. Like, basically found it. But yeah, it's the same process. It's still the resources over there. They still our intellectual property and our cultural resources here. Monetize it and sometimes sell it back to us in a different form, in a lesser form. It's less valuable than we gave it to them. This goes to show. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk with y'all about. Wanted to make that announcement about the channel. I wanted to talk about that concept. And sister say we're the ultimate bag and most of it, that is true. Let's talk about the concept of us controlling our image and also the lessons that can be learned from these various media, and whatever. And it struck me, and since I saw the movie today, I was like, I'll include my review of the movie in this discussion. So I'll just say this: the movie was enjoyable. The Bob Marley movie was enjoyable. If you're a fan of Bob Marley's music, you'll like it more. It does not go as in depth as I would have liked. But if you've seen the 2012 documentary, you got more in-depth stuff from there. I do plan to do another live stream Sunday. And next week, the plan is to do another ceasefire in the Black gender wars. Obviously, I haven't done that in years. I haven't put the call out yet for brothers and sisters that I want to do that. Some people on Instagram that I know that I want to I'm gonna invite to the show. Invite some younger people and have them discuss some things. You say, sister, you saw it, you said you liked it. Yeah. It's kind of funny about the Marley movie. It kind of left me wanting more, and then I realized as I walked out the theater is that what I wanted more of wasn't the movie per se. I wanted more of Bob, and that ain't possible. You see what I'm saying? Like, I realized after I thought about it, I was like, he really left at his peak and left a lot of he left a lot on the table of what he could have done, which is why, and they didn't show this, they ain't talk about this, but that white man that on his deathbed and said that they poisoned Bob Marley, I definitely believe that. Okay, can't prove it, I definitely believe it. Just looking at the time in history and his popularity and his influence over the people of the world, yeah, I believe that. And I understand why the family didn't want to go into that, because I get it. But somebody did try to kill the man and his wife. You know, the Rita dreadlock keeping her from leaving the planet thing that they put in there, that was real. The sister said they definitely demonstrated his love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I appreciated that. I appreciated that. Here's a reality situation. Before I get off here, I'm going to say this. Feel the necessity to say this. The black man cannot be fully himself without the black woman. And the European knows this. And that's why they do everything they can to keep us apart. It's very much the opposite of the movie Hancock, right? We talk about messages being put out that people miss. Everybody remember the movie Hancock, Will Smith movie. Hancock was basically a superpowered drunk who had lost his memory. And then he ran to a European female, and the closer they got together, the weaker he got. And the further away he got from her, the stronger he got. Right? A lot of brothers just missed that part of the movie, or they never saw Hancock. I'm going to repeat it again for the people in the back. The closer he got to the European female, the weaker he got. The further he got away from her, the stronger he got. But anyway, real life is like the opposite of that. The closer our relationship with black women, the stronger we've been. The further away our relationship is with black women, the weaker we get. That's it. And all of these media, this show and two films actually help show that. And I think that's why I enjoyed them. So, never saw Hancock. It's a decent movie. It's kind of funny. It's been a few years, but I'll be back Sunday night. And I'm gonna give y'all some visuals and stuff. I had some visuals that I like, not clips, but pictures and stuff from the show and stuff. But I messed up, deleted them, and didn't have time to reload them because I didn't realize I deleted them to the show or it had already started. It's my bad. Things happen when you just kind of just do things spur of the moment, as this show very much was spur of the moment, inspired by seeing the movie today. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for supporting. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Now you can super chat. You can super thanks. I'm debating where I'll do the membership thing. And it's on to 1,000 followers. Hopefully shortly. So with that, unless there's something else that you all want to tell me, we'll be back Sunday night. And if not, I'll let you all know for those who are on Instagram with another episode of The Center Live. I appreciate y'all for y'all support, for getting us over the threshold. That I say, a BB for ODA and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cashapp is $DCRadical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A big for ODA and straight black pride.